You ever notice how every time you ask God for a bigger life, He doesn't just hand it to you? You don't wake up the next morning suddenly stronger, richer, more disciplined, more respected, more powerful. Instead, what do you get? Problems, pressure, resistance. That's because God doesn't give strength. God gives situations that make you strong. And most men fail because the moment the test arrives, they fold. They mistake divine preparation for punishment. They think pressure means something is wrong, when in reality it's the clearest sign something is about to go right. God is not testing your comfort. God is testing your capacity. Before He expands your life, He checks if you can handle the expansion. Imagine a man who prays for muscles but never picks up a weight. That's how most people treat success. They pray for a better life, but refuse the pain required to build it. But you're different because you're here listening, trying to understand how to elevate. And the truth is simple. Every strong man you admire was shaped in a place he didn't want to be. Every moment of discipline, every early morning, every lonely grind, every setback, every "why me" moment was part of the divine curriculum. You don't become great by accident. You become great by enduring the moments that were designed to carve you into someone worthy. When life presses you, when the world feels heavy, when your responsibilities multiply, that's not God trying to break you. That's God stretching you. Strength isn't built in comfort. Expansion isn't built in ease. God puts you in situations that force you to grow in ways you never would voluntarily, because men seek comfort, but God seeks capability, and capability is only built in resistance. Think about your life right now. The problems you complain about, the stress you try to avoid, the chaos you think is unfair. What if all of that is the exact environment God crafted for your evolution? What if He's not testing your patience? He's testing your readiness. Most people pray for a big life, but live like small people. They want blessings, but aren't ready to carry the weight of those blessings. You can't handle small pressure, yet you're asking for a kingdom. You break under minor inconveniences, but expect God to trust you with massive responsibility. That's not how divine growth works. Before God gives you more, He watches how you handle less. Before God hands you power, He watches how you handle discomfort. Before God elevates you, He watches how you respond to struggle. And that's why your current circumstances matter more than you think. Because this right here is the test that determines the rest. You want success. You want freedom. You want purpose. Good, but God won't give you anything until you prove you're worthy of it. So He'll place you in situations where you feel pressure, because pressure reveals the truth about a man. Pressure shows if you collapse or climb. Pressure exposes whether you're guided by feelings or by discipline. Pressure separates those who talk from those who take action. You think God doesn't see when you skip the work because you're tired. You think God doesn't notice when you quit too early. You think God doesn't hear the excuses you whisper to yourself. He sees everything. And He also sees when you persist, when you grind anyway, when you rise despite every reason to stay down. That's when He knows you're ready for expansion. And here's the most important thing: God doesn't test you to see what you're capable of. He already knows. The test is for you to discover it, because you've forgotten how strong you can be. You've forgotten how much pressure you can survive. You've forgotten that greatness is inside you, buried under comfort, laziness, and doubt. So God applies pressure to reveal the warrior you were meant to be, the man He designed you to become. And until you embrace that pressure, until you stop running from it, you will never rise to the level you pray. For you have to understand something that most men ignore their entire lives. God doesn't just test you with pressure. He tests you with silence. He tests you with delay. He tests you with the moments where you feel like nothing is happening, nothing is changing, and your effort seems invisible. Those moments where you grind every day, you pray every night, you sacrifice, you stay disciplined, and yet the results are slow, the progress is small, and the world feels blind to your effort. That's where most men break. Not because they can't handle pain, but because they can't handle patience. They can fight resistance, but they can't fight doubt. They can endure hardship, but they crumble when they feel unseen. And this is exactly why the silence matters, because silence exposes your true motive. Are you disciplined because someone is clapping for you? Or are you disciplined because the mission is bigger than applause? Are you working because people are watching? Or are you working because you know deep inside that God is watching even when no one else is? Every great man, every successful warrior, every champion was forged in seasons where nobody knew what he was doing. That's the era where hunger grows. That's the era where your character forms. That's the era where God evaluates your loyalty. When God is silent, He is not ignoring you. He is measuring you. He is watching what you do when you feel like He isn't saying a word, when the path is unclear, when the reward is distant, when you have to wake up day after day and push without promise, grind without guarantee, believe without evidence. That silence is where boys break and men are born. That silence is where destiny is built. You say you want success, but can you keep going when success is nowhere in sight? You say you want discipline, but can you stay disciplined when your life feels like a loop repeating the same struggle? You say you want greatness, but can you carry the weight of obscurity without losing your drive? Most people quit because they think God abandoned them, when in reality, He's watching them closer than ever. The silence isn't punishment, it's training. It's the unseen arena where He watches whether you are driven by commitment or comfort, whether you're powered by purpose or by praise, whether you move because you're inspired or because you're responsible. And you have to understand, God will not elevate a man who only works when life feels easy. God elevates the man who works when life feels empty. Think about every version of yourself you used to be. The phases you outgrew, the mindsets you shed, the weaknesses you overcame. None of that happened during the victories. It happened during quiet nights, lonely mornings, long stretches of self-doubt, moments where you questioned everything but kept going anyway. That is the environment where transformation happens. That is the environment where self-respect is shaped. That is the environment where God prepares you to handle what you're praying for. And let's be honest, most men want quick results because they don't want to face their own reflection. They want success to prove something to the world before they've proven anything to themselves. They want God to answer instantly so they never have to confront their internal chaos. But God doesn't build men through speed. He builds them through depth. He builds them through patience. He builds them through seasons where you have no choice but to rely on discipline, not motivation. Faith, not emotion. Vision, not comfort. And the truth is, when you stop fighting the silence and start embracing it, something powerful happens. You stop rushing. You stop panicking. You stop needing everything instantly. You develop a dangerous level of calm, a level of certainty that can't be shaken by delays or setbacks. You develop the mindset of a man who knows his path is guided even when he can't see the next step. You become the kind of man God can trust because you keep moving even when you feel alone. You keep grinding even when you feel unnoticed. You keep showing up even when nothing around you changes. That's the ultimate test of discipline. Doing the right thing long before the results show up, long before anyone praises you, long before life validates your effort. That's the test that separates ordinary men from the chosen ones. That's the test that proves you're ready for the life you pray for. There comes a moment in every man's life where he realizes that comfort is the enemy, not the reward. And the crazy part is, this realization never arrives during happiness, success, or celebration. It arrives in struggle. It arrives when life feels unfair, when you're pushed into a corner, when everything seems harder than it should be. That's when you learn the truth. God doesn't test you to break you. He tests you to upgrade you. But upgrades never come wrapped in comfort. They come wrapped in challenges that demand a stronger version of you. To emerge, every trial you face is a mirror that exposes your weaknesses, your fears, your lack of discipline, your emotional impulses, your internal fractures. But instead of running from that mirror, you're supposed to stare into it until you understand what must be fixed. Because God doesn't send tests to punish you. He sends tests to reveal you, to show you the exact parts of yourself that must be rebuilt before He can trust you with the next level of your life. And most people never evolve because they misinterpret the test. They think the hardship means God is against them, when in reality, the hardship is God preparing them. Think about it. If God gave you everything you asked for instantly, you'd destroy it instantly. If He put you in a position of power before you knew how to control your impulses, you'd misuse it. If he gave you success before you learned humility, you'd sabotage it. If he handed you responsibility before your character was built, you'd collapse under the weight of it. So instead, he gives you a test disguised as a setback, disguised as a delay, disguised as struggle, disguised as pressure. And that test forces you to develop the traits required for the destiny you've been praying for. That's why every storm you go through has a purpose. You don't grow when things are easy. You don't get stronger when life is gentle. You don't elevate when everything goes your way. Growth demands friction. Strength demands resistance. Breakthrough demands pressure. And God applies that pressure with precision. He knows exactly how much you can handle. He knows exactly what lesson you need next. He knows exactly what weakness must be burned out of you before he can trust you with more. And that's the key. You're not being tested for fun. You're being tested for trust. Every great man in history was shaped by trials. Men aren't built through comfort. They're built through chaos. They're built when everything inside them screams to quit, but they keep going anyway. They're built in the lonely hours when no one believes in them, no one understands them, no one supports them, and yet they continue walking the path. Why? Because deep inside, they know the test is not a punishment, it's preparation. They know greatness demands a price. They know God only gives levels to men who have proven they can survive the climb, and you have to stop expecting your journey to be smooth. If your life is easy, it's because nothing great is expected of you. If your life is comfortable, it's because no pressure is needed to shape you. Pressure means purpose. Challenge means potential. Struggle means shaping. Instead of avoiding these moments, you must learn to embrace them, to see them as opportunities to sharpen your mind, strengthen your spirit, refine your discipline, and eliminate the parts of yourself that cannot go with you into the future you want. You say you want to be strong. Then life will send you moments that demand strength. You say you want to be wise. Then life will send you situations that force you to think deeply. You say you want success. Then life will send you challenges that test if you're capable of handling success. You say you want God to trust you. Then he will observe how you behave when the path is unclear, the reward is distant, and the pressure is high. This is where most men fail, not because they can't handle difficulty, but because they misjudge it. They think the test is a sign to stop, but the test is the sign you're getting closer. The test is the sign that something is being built inside you. The test is the sign that you're being shaped for the life you've been praying for. The test is the sign that God sees more in you than you see in yourself. Every hardship is molding you. Every delay is refining you. Every setback is teaching you. Every challenge is strengthening you. And once you understand that, you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this building in me? When you walk through life believing that everything is random, every setback feels like an attack. But when you understand that pressure is part of a divine process, the entire meaning of your suffering shifts. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you start asking, what is this preparing me for? Because the truth is simple. God does not hand his greatest responsibilities to untested men. If you want to be trusted with strength, with influence, with destiny, you will first be trusted with struggle. And most people run from this truth because pressure exposes who you really are. Every man says he wants success. Every man says he wants purpose. But the moment life applies pressure, most men collapse. They fold because their desire was only emotional, never spiritual, never disciplined, never built on a foundation strong enough to carry burden. If God gave you power before you were ready, it would destroy you. So instead, he waits. He watches how you react when your plans fall apart. He watches how you carry yourself when nothing is working. He watches the strength of your heart when no one is cheering for you, when you're tired, when you're doubted, when you feel forgotten. That is where the real test begins. Pressure is not punishment. Pressure is shaping. When metal is forged, it is not gently placed into its final form. It is hammered, heated, bent, broken, reshaped. Why do you think your life feels like chaos sometimes? Because God is forging you into something stronger, something sharper, something that can cut through the world's noise and do the work he prepared for you. Weak men want comfort. Strong men want purpose, even if purpose comes wrapped in difficulty. And the moment you accept that pressure is necessary, you stop resisting it and start using it. Look at your own life. Think about every moment that built you. Think about the nights you had nothing but your own thoughts to wrestle with. Think about the failures that humbled you. Think about the loneliness that forced you to develop your inner strength. Those weren't random events. Those were divine appointments designed to prepare you. Every hardship taught you something discipline never could. Every betrayal sharpened you in ways comfort never would. Every loss carved out space for a stronger version of you to emerge. You didn't get weaker through pressure, you got revealed. This is why the path of pressure is the path of elevation. God tests the man before he trusts the man, and the test always includes discomfort. You cannot pray for strength and expect a soft life. You cannot pray for discipline and expect everything to come easily. You cannot pray for greatness and expect God to hand it to you without seeing what you're truly made of. Pressure exposes your character, your resilience, your commitment. And once you prove you won't break, once you prove you will persist even when exhausted, once you prove that your faith is stronger than your fear, God opens doors that were previously locked. Pressure molds you into someone who can handle the weight of blessings, because blessings are heavy. Success is heavy. Responsibility is heavy. Leadership is heavy. And if you crumble under the small tests, you cannot be trusted with the larger mission. That is why every trial you face is intentional. Every struggle is training. Every delay is preparation. You are being shaped, refined, elevated by forces you cannot always see. The question is not whether God is testing you. The question is whether you will rise under his pressure. There comes a moment when every man has to decide what he truly stands for. Not when life is easy, not when everything is smooth, but when discipline becomes the only difference between who you are and who you could be. Because discipline is not just a habit, it is devotion. It is how you show God that you are serious about the mission he placed inside you. Too many men pray for success without preparing for it. Too many men ask for blessings they have not earned. Too many men dream of greatness while living like it costs nothing. But the truth has never changed. Discipline is proof of intention. When you wake up early, even when you don't feel like it, that's devotion. When you keep promises to yourself that no one else will see, that's devotion. When you fight the inner voice that says, rest, quit, not today, that is devotion. God sees the battles that no one else sees. He sees the moments when you force yourself forward. He sees the choices you make in private that reveal your real strength. And when you prove through disciplined action that you are capable of carrying heavier responsibility, that's when he begins to elevate you. Discipline is the language of men who are ready to be trusted. Consider this: if you cannot control your own impulses, how can you handle opportunity? If you cannot master your own weaknesses, how can you protect anything valuable? If you cannot stay consistent in your own life, how can you expect God to give you more? Every disciplined action you take is like knocking on a door in heaven, saying, give me the next challenge, give me the next opportunity, give me the next level. And God answers, but only when he sees a man who is prepared, not a man who is simply wishing. Think about the people in your life who ruined their own blessings. They got something they weren't ready for. They were handed gifts without the character to maintain them. They fell under the weight of success because discipline was never a habit in their lives. You don't want to be that man. You want to be the man who rises because you are grounded, consistent, disciplined in the shadows long before anyone sees the results. Discipline is a signal to God that you are not relying on emotion. Anyone can work hard when they feel motivated. Anyone can be consistent when everything goes right. But discipline means you show up regardless of mood, regardless of circumstance, regardless of convenience. It means your word to yourself is unbreakable. It means you operate like a soldier on divine assignment. When God sees a man who can master himself, he knows he can trust that man to face what others cannot. And discipline is not just physical. It is mental, emotional, spiritual. It's the discipline to stay calm when anger wants to lead you. It's the discipline to remain focused when distraction claws at your attention. It's the discipline to stay grateful when life tests you. Every moment you choose discipline over impulse, you grow thicker skin, a stronger spine, a clearer mind. You become someone who is not controlled by external forces, but driven by an internal calling. This is why God respects discipline. Because discipline is sacrifice. Discipline is commitment. Discipline is the proof that you value the purpose he gave you. You don't rise because you want to rise. You rise because you've earned the right through continuous, disciplined action. Understand this deeply. Every day you practice discipline, you move further away from the man you were and closer to the man God intended you to become. You're not just changing habits, you're changing destiny. The world is full of men who talk, men who fantasize, men who expect reward without transformation. But the men God lifts are the ones who demonstrate through discipline that they are ready for more. They are ready for the weight. They are ready for the struggle. They are ready for the responsibility. And if you want God to trust you with a greater purpose, you must show him through your discipline that you can handle the path that leads there. There is a point in every man's journey where he must face a difficult truth. Power is not given to the weak, the inconsistent, or the unprepared. Power is handed only to those who can carry it without collapsing, those who can remain steady under pressure, those who can protect what God entrusts to them. And becoming that man is not an accident. It is a process of refinement. It is a test of character. It is the result of repeatedly proving through your actions that you are ready for more than comfort, more than ease, more than ordinary life. Power requires weight, and only a man forged by trials can carry it. You must understand that God is not delaying your success. He is developing your strength. If he gives you everything too early, it will crush you. If he hands you influence before you have discipline, you will misuse it. If he grants you authority before humility takes root, you will lose yourself in ego. This is why you feel tested. This is why life sometimes feels heavy. You are being shaped into someone who can be trusted with greatness. You are being molded into a warrior who can stand firm when others break. The challenges you face aren't punishments, they are preparation. Every time you refuse to quit, you grow into the kind of man God can trust. Every time you rise when doubt tries to anchor you, you become stronger. Every time you act with integrity when nobody is watching, you reinforce the foundation of a powerful life. Too many people want the crown without the scars, the victory without the discipline, the blessings without the responsibility. But God does not work like that. He watches how you behave in the quiet seasons before he hands you louder ones. He studies the consistency of your spirit before he gives you a platform. He waits to see if you can handle small things before placing big things in your hands. Becoming the man God trusts doesn't mean being perfect. It means being committed. It means being intentional. It means being willing to walk into difficult situations with courage instead of running from them. When you continue to show up despite fear, fatigue, and frustration, God recognizes a man who is serious about his purpose. When you stop blaming circumstances and start taking ownership, you step into maturity. When you stop asking for an easier life and start asking for stronger shoulders, you begin aligning yourself with the mindset of kings. You are not in the season of punishment. You are in the season of preparation. The reason you feel pressure is because you're being fitted for a higher role. Diamonds do not form in softness. Warriors are not built in comfort. Leaders are not created in silence. You are being sharpened through resistance so that you can carry the responsibility that ordinary men run from. The harder your struggles, the higher the calling you are being shaped for. God puts weight only on those he intends to elevate. Some people collapse under pressure because they never learned how to stand alone. But you are being trained to remain strong no matter how dark the world becomes around you. You're being shaped into someone who doesn't crumble when storms come, but becomes the anchor for others. You're being taught patience, resilience, discipline, faith, endurance, and clarity, because these are the qualities required of a man who will carry influence. You are not just becoming stronger for yourself, you are becoming stronger for the people who will one day depend on your strength. When God sees a man who keeps pushing forward even on the days when motivation disappears, he sees a man who can lead. When he sees a man who doesn't fold under criticism or setbacks, he sees a man who can be trusted with opportunity. When he sees a man who walks with humility instead of arrogance, he sees a man who can carry authority without losing himself. This is the process. This is the transformation. This is what it means to be shaped into someone who is worthy of divine trust. You are not being denied. You are being refined. You are becoming the man who can be trusted with power. At the end of everything we've explored, there is one truth that rises above all others. God is not just watching your life. He is shaping it. Every struggle you've survived, every setback you've endured, every moment you thought was meant to break you, it was actually meant to build you. You are not here by accident. You are not under pressure without purpose. You are being guided, tested, refined, and strengthened because something greater is being prepared for you. The path you are walking is not easy because the destination you're being prepared for is not ordinary. The world may not understand your battles, but God does. He sees how many times you've stood back up when you could have stayed down. He sees every quiet sacrifice you've made when no one was there to applaud. He sees the discipline you're trying to build, the strength you're developing, the patience you're learning, the faith you're holding on to even when the road gets dark. You are not invisible. Your effort is not ignored. Your pain is not wasted. It is all part of a journey designed to elevate you into a version of yourself you cannot yet fully imagine. What you're facing right now is shaping the man you are becoming. The doubt, the delays, the pressure, they are not signs of failure. They are signs that you are in the process. And God trusts the man who refuses to quit more than the man who only acts when it is easy. That is why you are being pushed. That is why you are being stretched. That is why closed doors are redirecting you and challenges are strengthening you. Growth is uncomfortable, but it is always intentional. This entire message leads to one powerful realization: you are being built for responsibility, for leadership, for influence, for strength that does not collapse, for a purpose that requires resilience. And every test you pass becomes proof that you can be trusted with more. Whether you realize it or not, you are rising, you are evolving, you are walking toward a higher version of yourself, step by step, day by day, discipline by discipline. And each time you move forward, despite the weight on your shoulders, you move closer to the life that has been waiting for you all along. Your story is not defined by what tried to stop you. It is defined by what you did in response. You were not created to live small, to think small, to fear pressure, or to run from challenges. You were created to grow under them. You were created to rise through them. You were created to become a man capable of carrying the strength, the wisdom, and the responsibility that God is preparing to place in your hands. This is your refining season. This is where purpose is born. This is where faith becomes unshakable. This is where strength becomes permanent. And this is where you become the man God can trust with the life you've been praying for